Hey guys, what's up? Gary Oak here, just kind of here to talk about some honorable mentions for my week of meta. These are decks that could probably have filled the 5 spot. Klee is kind of a loose 5, but they just didn't make it for various reasons. So without further ado, let's go into this. First is Yosinju's. Yosinju's, they're my main deck IRL. Incredibly powerful deck. They can run every single floodgate except Skill Drain. But Macrocosmos, Vanities, everything of that nature they can run because they're all normal summons. Just bullshit effects between bouncing and stuff like that. Necro Valley even. But the reason I have them as an honorable mention and not on the list, um, the deck it's good, but if you do an anti-meta build, it can't go the distance. You can win games, but you're not going to win. Meta decks need to win 90% of their games no matter who they're playing. Yosinju's can't do that. And it's not a case of that they're not capable, it's just the fact that the deck doesn't have the consistency. Because when you run, you know, 20 to 30 spell trap cards and only 10 monsters, and your monsters, you don't really have a way of cycling them back, you're kind of fucked. Like if Mirror Force completely cripples the deck, once your Yosinjus hit the grave, they're gone forever. So that's why they're just an honorable mention. Next up, Spiritual Beast. Spiritual Beasts, they're awesome. They're super strong, and it's probably me pissing people off the fact that I don't have them on my week of. Um, some serious issues though. Imperial Iron Walls cripples the deck, as well as if anyone knows how to time, destroying some cards opposed to other cards, timing their traps, um, knowing what they're doing, because obviously the spiritual beasts have a high skill cap to them, but the thing is everyone seems to be playing them roughly the same, which is the ulti Hawks plus, just ridiculous pluses, set up field, win, but there's ways around it, and like if you negate their effects, like the Klee matchup for Spiritual Beast is god awful because if you have a skill drain on board, then you can't decontact, and then your deck just falls apart. So that's why they're an honorable mention. Not a bad deck. None of these decks are bad decks. They're just I wouldn't consider them in this top 5 list. Next up is Stellars. Stellars kind of fall in the same place as Spiritual Beasts in the fact that they have very repetitive plays. Very repetitive. More so Teller though. Spiritual Beasts are repetitive, but not that so much so. Teller are super repetitive because every play is the same. You're going to do some combination of normal or special summoning to get 3 on the board. Usually normal summon to Neb, tribute to Neb with an alpha, um, draw an Altair, use Altair special or normal Vega, Vega effect, special summon Altair, Altair effect, special summon Deneb, and make Stellar Knight one of their fucking XCs. It doesn't even matter. But, and like they can get away with running a lot of back row too. Not as much floodgates, just pure back row. But once again, it's just that repetition. They don't have an opening of plays, they don't have a variety of plays they can make, they just have the same play every time. And by doing that, your opponent, depending on how good your opponent is, if they can pick up that play, or if they even have experience against the tellers, if they can just stop one part of that play, your deck's going to fall apart. Finally is Yang Zings. Yang Zings are super powerful right now, especially because Trish is at 1 and they can get it out. And Chao Fang, if you make Chao Fang the right way with the right attributes, you can cripple most decks. The only weakness of the deck is Banishing, which these two decks can main macro, and then you have Masked Heroes that have Dark Law. Banishing kind of cripples the deck because all the cards have to hit grave. And the other thing is you can't really be offensive with the deck, or at least not in the early game. In the early game, you got to play passive and force your opponent to trigger your stuff. So if your opponent's a smart player or they just have experience, once again, it's a case of they know how to deal with it. Now, that's not different from the top 5 decks, but the top 5 decks, they have a multitude of plays to them to where they can play out, they can do something different to mess with their opponent, to give them an edge. And the fact that it's just consistent, play what you want when you want. As a Yosinju player, I can tell you for a fact you can't play what you want when you want. Um, Same Teller Knights, if you don't open up Deneb or Altair, you might as well scoop. Um, Spiritual Beast, you have a lot of plays open to you. Just the issue is most people don't utilize 90% of those plays. Most people would just do the uh, Ulti Hawks +6 play and just call it a day. Finally is Chao Feng or Yang Zing's. Yang Zing's, like, they have a bunch of synchros and it's beautiful and it's a lot of plays and options, but just their monsters in general, like, it's super, you know, not to attack those monsters, you know how to treat those monsters, get around those monsters in order to win. But anyway, like I said, this was just an honorable mention list. Remember to rate the video, like the video, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. See you guys.